Right. So the Page of Cups, especially with that High Priestess flying out while I was shuffling, this might indicate something that you're now ready to reveal, some kind of emotion, or somebody could be saying this to you. Pages are usually messengers, right? They have offers for us or they bring news. The Page of Cups for me is also our inner child. So it might be that the message is not from someone else or you giving someone else that message. It's to yourself. You're kind of figuring out, what is it that my inner child really wants? What is it that I feel? What is it that I desire? The Page of Cups to me can also indicate, like, yes, there might be messages, like, it's Mercury retrograde and everyone keeps talking about it. And I did talk about it in a recent podcast that I recorded as well. So you might want to check that out. But, we think differently, we feel differently. If you're a very kind of logical person, the rest of the year, when Mercury retrograde hits, and as we can kind of fall back a little bit more on our intuition, and vice versa. If you're usually very intuitive, you might be thinking more logically now. But with the Page of Cups, this is more about your emotions. So as an underlying energy, the Page of Cups to me, and not in this deck, but usually there's something in the cup. Whatever the cup the page is holding, there's something in it. What that indicates is there's a budding emotion here. There's something that needs to be nurtured, needs to be grown to get the most out of this. So it could be that you're doing that, especially with this 10 of Cups coming up here at the end. But what's at the heart of your reading? Well, we have the world. The world is the completion of a cycle, and it's the successful completion of a cycle. If you have a look at this person, she is sitting on top of the world. Now, whenever I say that to clients, I say, oh, successful completion. They're like, no, I'm down and out. Nothing feels like it's worked. Well, this is successful completion, as in whatever you needed to learn from that cycle, whatever you needed to achieve on a larger scale, not on an emotional scale, but on a larger scale, you've done so. A new cycle can begin. But the thing with the world is it's a transitional change. It doesn't happen overnight. So things might be winding down in certain areas. I'm getting the sense with that Page of Cups coming there, there's something that you have an emotion or a feeling about. Maybe you're feeling differently about a person in your life, about your job, about what it is that makes you feel happy. What is it that your inner child wants? And we all talk about this, inner child, but we are great parents to our actual children, but we can be really awful parents to our own inner child. And we all do have an inner child. We work ourselves too hard, or we overindulge. You'd never let your child eat that much pizza or watch that much TV, but sometimes we do that to ourselves, which that's a form of punishment too. So it's about taking care of your inner child here. And I kind of get the sense that there's something new that you want, something new. And I would encourage this, like nurturing that, whatever that emotion is, it requires nurturing and maybe even expressing. Now you have the King of Wands coming up as a past energy. So you may have been dealing with a fire sign, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I get the sense that for some of you, you've maybe dealt with someone like this, and you might have even forgotten them. Like you were done with them, or you met them before and nothing really came about it. But now with this cycle ending, a new cycle coming in, you have different emotions about this person. For those of you that this is your energy, that you were the King of Wands in the past and now you're not. The King of Wands is very confident, very independent. He knows what he wants. You bet he knows what he wants, and he knows how to go and get it. This can be someone who's very attractive, and I don't just mean physically good looking. Someone who has that charisma and the ability to attract themselves whatever they want. Now, if we kind of ignore the bottom row for a moment, just looking at this is success to me. Like, you've been successful in some endeavor. That cycle has completed and has left you kind of with this kind of feeling to do something new. Like maybe this was all kind of outer, you kind of indulged your passions. I'm going to say this, for some of you, this may have been, especially this romantic relationship, someone that you were just kind of passionate with, had some kind of bedroom acrobatics with them, and that's all you thought would come of this. But now there's more. There's an emotion here that's coming up, that I feel something here. However, in the present, we have the Five of Swords. So it'd be interesting for me to see, like, why are you going into April with this feeling of being stabbed in the back? And Five of Swords are usually conflict. It's a card of no victory. Like, nobody truly wins in that situation. But in this deck, we literally see her with two swords stuck in her back. So she's left there, probably been robbed by that guy who's walking off, and he stabbed her in the back and walked off. But if you have a look at him, he actually is looking back at her. So does he have regrets with what happened? So I kind of get the sense that with the Page of Cups coming up above the Five of Swords, this may have been something that happened before. It may have already happened, but you've got feelings about this, which kind of sounds strange, but either you're moving away from this, because the Page of Cups to me is budding emotion. The pages to me are like a lesser energy of the aces. So it's usually like fresh energy coming in. It's like a new beginning. The pages offer us new beginnings. This is a new beginning coming from your emotions. But it might be a situation to do with the King of Wands, or when you were the King of Wands, or maybe you were a player. I mean, the King of Wands usually isn't a player. Kings are usually more reliable, but where you might have lost your temper. The King of Wands, yes, he's passionate, but passions run the whole gamut, right? Can be where passions can run too high. You can get angry, you can get jealous, you can have that kind of energy. And now there's a kind of sense of regret almost, because I can see this guy walking off and he's looking back regretfully. Did you stab someone in the back? Did someone stab you in the back? Is someone coming to apologize to you because of what they did? But you might have gotten over this. We have the World here. That cycle completed. But with that person coming back to apologize, you're like, it kind of brings it up afresh. Brings it up in you, right? But with the advice of the Five of Swords is pick your battles wisely. Pick your battles wisely. If something's coming back round again, if something's coming up again that you thought you had gotten rid of, that you thought you'd buried, it's coming up for you to deal with it once and for all. So you can move forward. So you can start the new cycle after this cycle has completed. And if you can do that, if you can pick, some battles are just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Maybe you're just thinking, well, you know what? That's not what my inner child wants to do. Like, nurture and take care of yourself. Don't just get stuck into it for the sake of it. And it can be that you just have to, but forgive and don't ever forget. I always say that, you don't have to forget, because that's forgetting is the worst part. You learn your lessons, but forgiveness is about releasing yourself, releasing your inner child, right? So where does this lead? If you can do all this, if you can get through this energy, and I'm going to put clarifiers, we have the Three of Pentacles coming up. Now, this might be a work situation for some of you, because the Three of Pentacles can indicate recognition at work. But, if it's that, this is planning for the future. And what action are you going to take in the future? What action do you take? Because something has completed. Something has completed. Maybe it's to do with the King of Wands. That can be a boss, right? So maybe the thing is that you had hopes for your boss to do something. There was something new that you wanted, and it didn't go the way you wanted it. And there's a situation at work where you're being asked, is this a battle that you want to get involved in or not? Because it's going to cost you something. The Five of Swords always costs us something. And are you emotionally ready for it to cost you whatever it's going to cost you? But if you figure that out, you go through this, you do, there is ways to plan for the future, going forward in the future. On a solid footing when with Pentacles, we're feeling secure, we're feeling stable when the Three of Pentacles come out. And we're trying to increase that security and that stability. What's the advice though? The advice is, what is your happily ever after? We have the Ten of Cups here. And the Ten of Cups, it is that. It's the fairy tale ending. It's like, what's your end game? Why are you doing all of this? This can be families. This can be reunions. It is Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury is your ruler. So this can be a time. This situation with this King of Wands, or whatever this, that you're reliving, this pain that happened here and how you're feeling about it. It may be something that happened a year ago, 2 years ago. It doesn't have to be now, but something that you're revisiting. How do I feel about this now? Because sometimes we have to look at where we've been. Well, not sometimes, most of the time we look back at where we've been to know where we're going. And to plan for the future is telling you what's the dream? What's the fairy tale ending you're looking for in this? All Swords. Yeah, you're wrapping up something that, well, first of all, Swords is their energy. That's your energy, Gemini. And this it's related to this. Like everything else is pretty fabulous. It kind of seems like I'm getting the sense this is something that's happened. It's not happening. It's happened, but you're kind of reliving it. That's what I'm kind of getting here. And by reliving it, what do? Well, you have the Ace of Swords. This is a new truth that came out of this. This is a victory card. But how do you get victory? Through clarity and the truth. Maybe this is about telling someone, this is what you did this. It is a very selfish energy, the Five of Swords. It's selfish, willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want. Maybe you're seeing that in a different light. And selfish itself is a much maligned word. Maybe like taking care of yourself That's not selfish. Expecting other people to take care of you, that is selfish. So maybe you're noticing where other people are doing that. Maybe someone's using your emotions against you, Gemini. And the thing is, with the Ace of Swords, it's kind of needed, this new direction, this new clarity that comes in, because you've been so stressed out. There is stress, anxiety, sleepless nights. What have you been losing sleep over? Because that's what the Nine of Swords indicates. But with the Ace coming up before that, it kind of says to me that there's a new direction. There's a new direction that's coming in. And the stress has been over this. Someone did something really awful to someone. That's what I'm getting here. Someone did something really awful to someone. Cups for me are healing energy. It's, you know, self-nurturing. It's that kind of taking care of the stuff, the inner child, like I said. But this here is telling me that you are getting over something awful. That with that, when I get the Five of Swords and the Three of Swords, that is pain. That is pain. The Three of Swords, it's those issues that we have, those stories that we have. You know, I'm broken because so-and-so did this to me, or blah, blah, etc., etc. And it works both ways. So, Gemini, I really hope you haven't done this to someone else. And if you have, then maybe it's time to apologize. And when we apologize to people, they don't have to kind of take it. They don't have to, you know, accept it. But we don't apologize to get the other person's forgiveness. We apologize to so we can forgive ourselves and to know that we've done everything we can to make amends. But it feels like after you've dealt with this, look at the swords lined up there at the bottom. It relates to this. That's when you can plan for the future. And it's almost like you're being held back. You're being held back by whatever this is. When you have swords going through your heart, and whenever this comes up, it's an opportunity to remove those swords once and for all. The truth truly does set you free in this scenario here. Right, let's see what else we have coming up for you from the Oracle cards. There we go. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And that's what I was kind of getting, that, you know, this doesn't have to have happened recently, but there is some pain or some situation that whoever did it, it has to be released. It has to be released now to be able to move forward. That's the happily ever after. That is, you know, let's move these. The Three of Pentacles here. This is about making plans. What action are you going to take? You know, your security, your stability. And with the World, it's saying it's done. It's done. Let's go. You are limitless. Recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. And that's an important one, because a lot of the times, and I hear it a lot, I experienced it a lot. Like, you know, we all do this. It's like, well, I can't do X, Y, and Z because this happened. Like, you know, I went through this or this. I don't have the money to do that. I don't have the support to do that. I don't have this. And it's like, you can do whatever you want. Whatever that limitation is that you're putting on yourself, it is a limitation that you are putting on yourself. Because this is about action that you can take. And this bit, Three of Pentacles can be working with other people. But it's done. The World is telling you this is done. This is just wrapping up. Because you can go towards this. And the Tens are also completions, right? They're completions of cycles. So whatever emotional stuff that you went through, I mean, the Ten of Cups is usually a very happy card. It's a card of commitment, can be marriage. It kind of feels like you get there by, I'm wondering, you guys will have to let me know, Gemini, if there's some kind of pain or worry or stress or something, right, from way in the past, even if, or, you know, it could be from last weekend, I don't know, but it's kind of coming up really strongly. But with the Ace of Swords there, it's cutting through this. This can sometimes indicate cutting people out. Will we cut out the stuff that's been bothering us or hurting us? Some, it might be this guy. There we go. So we have No Place Like Home coming up. I love this card. What is home? What is home to us? Home is where we feel safe, where we feel secure, right? And this card reminds us that we always have a home within ourselves. With, you know, we keep ourselves safe. We keep ourselves warm. We comfort ourselves. And you will always have a home in yourself as long as you live authentically. You live authentically. That's what the Ace of Swords says as well. It's truth. Victory, but through the truth. Maybe it's time for you to come out and say, look, this is the situation. This is how things are. But you're doing it in a way to end that cycle, to complete that. Right, let's pull you a postcard from Spirit to end your reading. Okay, and it says, Dear wonderful you, intimacy is scary sometimes. It means you have to let someone else get to know the real you. Yes. not the perfect, flawless mask you wear for others. No, it's time to reveal the cool one, the passionate one, the imperfect one that is totally you, without artifice or walls. Yes, you will be exposed and vulnerable for a time, but it will be so worth it. This is the only way you will know true closeness with others, and you will also be close to spirit and to us. There is amazing freedom that comes when you let go and just be yourself with another or a group. Release from the invisible bindings that keep you from intimacy is truly empowering. So may we support you wholeheartedly in this choice. You will know yourself better, and we hope learn to love yourself as much as we do. Life is about who we are with others, so share it. You will be so glad you did. Loving you so much. And that's kind of what I was getting, that, you know, it may be that there's new feelings for someone, but you're maybe like keeping yourself trapped because someone did this to you. You're remembering that, oh, I don't want to make myself vulnerable or expose how I'm feeling because I got hurt. And it doesn't just have to be a relationship. Maybe this is work, right? That, you know, when it comes to work, you went out on a limb before for a project or said something and you got cut down. And that's where you have the Three of Swords are old stories that we have. Those three swords have been there. The heart heals over and we don't realize they're there. There's something new happens. Someone new comes in. You know, we have a new plan for the future, and then it's that old story starts coming up. Well, no, I can't do this. And the Nine of Swords says things are not as bad as they seem. But it seems to be coming from this, whatever this selfish act was, or this act of pain, and it caused a lot of pain. I'm not even going to deny that. But as long as you're the authentic you know, speaking your truth, or embracing your truth, you can plan for the future, and that cycle will complete. And what happens when one cycle completes? A new one begins, and that's when you get your happily ever after.